the Buffalo City Stadium. They've actually started, and Cyril Ramaphosa will take to the podium at 11 o'clock, according to the NSC member, Figi Mbalula. All right, let's now cross back to East London, and well, let's take a look at some of the visuals that have been coming through. Okay, well, our reporter, Unathi Bingose is standing by just outside the City Hall, and I see it's quite a buzz and a hive of activity. It's over to you, Unathi.
6th anniversary of the ANC, and I can tell you that the entertainment has reached fever point at this point, and people continue to stream into this venue, and the man of the moment has not even arrived yet, but we do expect that by the time he gets here, this venue will be overflowing. Just about all the 3 venues that have been booked for this event are just about filled now, with people from all walks of life, young and old, coming to witness this event. And right next to me, I've got a senior citizen, an elderly lady, all the way from Port Alfred. She has decided to stop everything and come to and be part of this event. Mama, sikubulise sikwamkele. Ingaba into lekwenze uzidine uzoba inxalenye yomsitho.
Into ebangela abantu sidine ndizoba lapha kukuthanda lo mbutho.
Into lento ingaka ngalo mbutho?
Lento ingaka khona izinto esenzelwe zona.
Izinto nezomhlaba.
Besakhelwe izindlu namanzi asisawakhi emfuleni ngokusipha apha eCangweni sinedepho zingaphakathi eziyadini.
Ingabe ufuna ukuva ntoni mhlambi kumongameli omthwalo mbutho uCyril Ramaphosa? Umba wemanyano ndiyaqonda uba ngabana ngomnye wezinto eziphambili abakhe bathetha ngazo into yemanyano, unity kumbutho. Let's move over to Umama as well, who's also a member, certainly a member of the Women's League. Mama, sikubulise sikwamkele. Ingaba into lekwenza uzidine ube inxalenye lomcimbi?
Mna nje njengoba ndizidina nje ndifuna nami ndikhululeke ndifana nabakhululekileyo, ngoba bakhulula abaninzi banezindlu ayandodla. Mna andikakhululeke kodwa khona enzayincama loo nto uba nami ndifuna ukukhululeka abantwana bami kuyakhulula.
Yinto lento ingaka ngalombutho ukwenza uba usiye yonke into ngosuku lwangomgqibelo lixakeke kangaka?
Le nto kaloku indenza uba ndishiye yonke into yam, ndifuna uzowubona izinto ezi zenziwa ndingafika abantu. Ndiyawuthanda lo mbutho, wasikhulula, sibotshiwe, kwakunzima, sityiswa ngezinja ngamabhulu, kodwa okuba kuphethe umXhosa noko ukhona utshintsho.
Mama, sinibulele ngexesha lenu. Thank you very much. Masinivumele ke ningene ngaphakathi. Enkosi kakhulu. Well, those were some of the elderly people that have been part of this event, and of course expressing some gratitude to the government of the ANC, which has been in power in South Africa since 1994. They say they are here to witness this event, and of course express some gratitude and also applaud and try to implore this movement to do even more for them as elderly people, and of course the people of South Africa in general. With that, let us hand over to you in studio.
Well, thank you so much, the Unathi Bingose, speaking outside the City Hall in East London, and we still continue our coverage of the ANC #106. And all right, let's now take a look at these visuals. An artist on stage. He's inside the Buffalo City Stadium, and as we see, it looks like a record crowd of throngs and throngs of ANC members and supporters are flocking into the Buffalo City Stadium, and so much, it's going to be a record crowd such that another stadium has been organized, that's the Overflow Stadium, anticipating a large crowd of ANC members. And in our interviews throughout the past week, we spoke to so many ANC members and who've been quite optimistic and quite hopeful of the new outlook of the ANC leadership, saying that they are pinning their hopes on ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa, that he's going to change their fortunes around, and he's definitely going to take them out of poverty and out of the poverty that's been associated with the previous leadership. There are massive crowd at the Buffalo City Stadium there in East London, and throngs of people are still flocking in. Let's now take a listen.
My selector, Manja! Eastern Cape Ensemble. Can I have that mic on my selector, mic, and a praise singer. Can you do testing?
1, 2.
Yakompulu!
Always refreshed when they go to Rwanda.
Yakompulu! The African National Congress. Media, can you please give them space? Can you please give them space because they are going to perform here. If you may go along the fence, but be in the position to capture them. But this space, we need it for performances, please.
Well, the party has officially started throngs of ANC members and ANC supporters filling up the Buffalo City Stadium, which will be the venue for the ANC anniversary celebrations will be taking place. It actually has started, and as Fikile Mbalula stated earlier on, official proceedings will start at 10 o'clock, and Cyril Ramaphosa, the ANC president, will make his address at exactly 11 o'clock. And as you can see earlier on, throngs of people will bust in from different provinces and from different regions. Some even said that they slept at the venue just to make sure that they get a perfect spot to watch the proceedings as they get underlong. We continue our coverage of these celebrations, and we'd like to hear from you. Let's now take a look at some of the tweets that have been coming through this morning. Bongegile says, I think he is going to talk about rebuilding the ANC. Sindisa says, ANC renewal, fighting corruption in government and SOEs, land appropriation without compensation, growing the economy, taking the ANC back to the people, and fighting poverty. Simpiwe Mkiza says, hashtag unity, radical economic transformation, and speaking against corruption among them. Well, those are the tweets in response to our question that we asked earlier on. What are your expectations of Cyril Ramaphosa's address of the January 8th statement that will be delivering in about a couple of hours now? All right, let's now cross back to the Buffalo City Stadium, and let's take a look at some of the visuals, some of the proceedings going on there.
And those are the colourful scenes that you see at the Buffalo Stadium here in East London. This is where the January 8th statement of 2018 is going to be delivered. The crowd's swelling, and we've got an overflow area as well, which is pretty full at the moment already. So both inside and outside the stadium, there's a sizable crowd of people that are gathering in their ANC regalia and colours and waiting for their new president, Cyril Ramaphosa, to address them to deliver this year's NEC January 8th statement. To give us a sense of perhaps what we can expect and what the president should be saying, I'm now joined by political analyst at Nelson Mandela University of Johannesburg, Nelson Mandela University here in the Eastern Cape, Ongama Mtinka. Thanks so much for joining us. You know, I get a sense there's a huge expectation, anticipation, not just by the people that are here, but South Africa in general, and perhaps even further afield, about Cyril Ramaphosa, what kind of leader he's going to be, just based on this appearance today.
Absolutely, Peter. You know, South Africans are in a state of despair. I was looking at the report now that shows that in the third quarter of 2017, we lost thousands of jobs. I think about 80, if I'm not mistaken. So the economy is bleak. There's been loss of confidence in the political system. And the question among many South Africans is whether Ramaphosa is the man to actually bring about change. And yes, the ANC is an organization. But I think there has never come a time in the ANC where the personal leadership of a man is so important. So South Africans have that question, is this the man? And I think he's got the stage now to actually say whether or not he's up to the task that history is dictating to him.
What does he need to say or do to perhaps set a new agenda in people's minds? Because he was deputy president of this party for the last 5 years.
Land reform has been bungled for a long time. There's been one bill after another. I think over 2 times the expropriation bill, the revised one, has been in process and then got shelved. So I think there's a need for clarity. What's going to change going forward as a result of the resolution of the ANC? So if he gets land first and gives a sense of there's going to be radical action, but it's going to be sensible from an economic point of view, I think that's the first one. Also, in terms of changing the moral character of political leadership, the ANC has always identified the right problems, has always had the right policies, but I think for me where it has failed, it's been at a leadership level to build the right cadre and have the right person who can drive implementation of policies and build a strong and rally the whole country behind it. So I think that's what he has to do at this stage.
All right, you know what, Ongama, we're going to speak to you a little bit further during the course of this unfolding story because we're going to speak to Jeff Radebe in a few moments' time, but we'll continue to have this conversation about what Cyril Ramaphosa needs to do, what agenda he needs to set. But thanks very much for sharing your thoughts with us in the meantime. All right, so we continue to give you this live broadcast, this special broadcast taking place at the Buffalo Stadium here in the Eastern Cape. And we take a quick break now. When we come back, we'll come and have a conversation with Jeff Radebe, who's sat on the NEC for many, many years. And so he's seen a lot of these January 8th statements. We get his thoughts on this one today.